In 1988, a bright 17-year-old schoolgirl vanished, but what happened next would become one of the most disturbing crimes in Japan's history. For 44 days, she was trapped in a nightmare hidden in plain sight while dozens of people knew, and no one saved her. This is the story Japan wishes it could forget, but you will never unhear. Her name was Junko Furuta, a daughter, a friend, a student with dreams of building a life far from the quiet suburbs she called home. She wasn't famous. She wasn't controversial. She was just normal. But sometimes normal lives cross paths with monsters. On a cold November evening, Junko's ordinary walk home became the first step into an unimaginable hell. This is where it began. That evening, Junko left school and began her usual journey. Some reports say she was heading home, others that she was on her way to her part-time job. She never arrived at either destination. While cycling, she was attacked by a random boy, Shinji Minato, who threw her off her bike and ran away. Another boy, Hiroshi Miyano, approached, claiming to have seen the whole thing and offered to walk her home for safety. He and a group of friends including Hiroshi Miyano and Yasushi Watanabe tricked her into going with them. She was taken to a house in the Iaz district of Adachi, Tokyo, owned by Minato's parents. From that moment, Junko's life became an unending nightmare. The abductors forced Junko to call her mother and claim she had run away to stay with a friend. The aim was to stop her family from raising alarm. When Minato's parents were present, Junko was told to pretend she was someone's girlfriend. It soon became apparent the parents were aware something was wrong but chose to ignore it. This indifference gave the boys free rein to commit atrocities without fear of discovery. Over the next 44 days, Junko endured a level of cruelty that defies comprehension. She was repeatedly assaulted, tortured, and humiliated. The abuse was not driven by personal vendetta. Her captors admitted they had no grudge against her. They inflicted pain because they could, because they enjoyed it, and because they believed they would never face consequences. The first night, Junko was assaulted, forced to call her mother and lie to say she'd run away, that she was safe. She wasn't given a choice. From that moment forward, the house became a prison, and her captors became executioners of her spirit. They took turns. More than 400 times in total, she was violated. They starved her, fed her cockroaches, forced her to drink her own urine. They burned her skin with lighters. They lit fireworks inside her body. They inserted bottles, light bulbs, sometimes lit into her. This wasn't about impulse. It was about control, dominance, and a thrill they chased day after day. By the 11th day, her body was breaking. They tied her hands to the ceiling, using her as a human punching bag until her internal organs bled. When she tried to drink water, she vomited. It hurt too much to swallow. And yet, she almost escaped. One time she reached the telephone, but one of the boys caught her just in time and ended the call for help. They punished her by taunting her with a candle flame and finally dousing her legs in lighter fluid and set her on fire as punishment for trying to run away. She went into convulsions. They set her on fire again, then put it out. Still, she lived. Mid-December. Her legs were so badly burned she could barely walk. They beat her with bamboo sticks, golf clubs, iron rods. They inserted fireworks into her, laughing as she cried. They left her on a cold balcony in winter air, naked and shaking. And through it all, no one came, no one stopped them. Her face was scarred with hot wax, eyelids burned by lighters, sewing needles stabbed into her chest, one nipple crushed with pliers. She bled heavily from injuries to her genitals. The damage was so severe that it took her an hour just to crawl to the bathroom. Her hearing faded. Her mind began to retreat into silence. On January 1st, 1989, while the world celebrated, Junko lay alone on the floor, her body mutilated, her voice barely a whisper. She began asking for death, pleading for it. It was the only mercy she could imagine now. January 4th, 1989. A game of mahjong ended with one of them losing. In their world, this meant someone else had to suffer. For 2 hours, they beat her with an iron barbell. They set her on fire: legs, arms, face, stomach. This time, there would be no surviving it. By nightfall, Junko Furuta was gone. The next day, her captors stuffed her body into a 55-gallon drum. They filled it with concrete and left it on reclaimed industrial land. Weeks later, when police uncovered the truth, her family collapsed under the weight of it. Her mother fainted when she heard the details, requiring psychiatric care. Despite being tried as adults, the boys received reduced charges, bodily injury resulting in death instead of murder. 20 years for Miyano. 5 to 9 years for Minato. 5 to 7 years for Watanabe. Kumisaku walked free in 1999 and would offend again. Japan's juvenile laws had protected them more than they ever protected Junko. It's been decades, but the memory of those 44 days still lingers in whispered conversations, in documentaries, in late-night discussions online. The cruelty shocked a nation, but perhaps more haunting is this. Dozens of people knew, neighbors, visitors, even the parents in that house, and yet no one stopped it. Junko Furuta's story is not just about what was done to her. It's about the silence that allowed it to happen.